Chance we'll take it. Read us any rules we're breaking. We're gonna make our dreams come true. Doing it our way. Nothing's gonna hold us back now. Straight ahead and on the track now. Gonna make our dreams come true. Doing it our way.
Hey homies, what's up? Ryan Wynn here with another episode of Late Night Inks, and tonight we have a very special episode. It is our 50th episode. Can you believe it, guys? But I'm not one that is known for celebration or fanfare, so we're just having a regular old episode, just like the last couple weeks where we had Batgirl and Cable here, and we have had some awesome participation from you guys on these, and I can't thank you enough. But we are gonna do something kind of cool for the 50th. We are gonna bring out a favorite of yours, a favorite of mine. This is one Dick Grayson with the mullet as Nightwing. Now he was my original Robin. He was that was because as a little kid, born in the late 70s, they were still airing the Batman TV show. So that and the cartoons, it was always Dick Grayson. And then as I got a little older, it was Jason Todd, and then DC let us have the tremendous weight of killing off Jason Todd and giving us that guilt to live with the rest of our lives as Dick Grayson went on to become Nightwing. And I really like the mullet version. There's something about the mullet characters from when I was a kid, like Nightwing and Longshot, that I just really dug. And that is why Shotgun of Driver and Shotgun of Gods and Gears, Jimmy of Gods and Gears has himself a mullet. So, what do we have here, though? This is not just a drawing of Dick Grayson. This is an ink-along. What is an ink-along? An ink-along is the opportunity for you, whether you are a inker, creator, penciler, writer, non-artist, artist, whatever it is you do or don't do, this show is for you. You can download this image down below, print it up in blue line. It's a light blue. Then you can ink over it with whatever tools you want, or drop it into a digital app like Procreate or Clip Studio and get to work. We are 2 minutes in and I haven't started. Let's lay some ink. We are using Stinger, our Raphael 8404 size 2. And we are going to attack what is called our contours, or the outlines, first. We dip the brush about 2/3 in, wipe it off on the inside of the jar or scratch paper, and then get to work. So my brush is loaded up with ink and water right now. She's pretty swole. So we're getting some juicy, thick lines here. Oh, let's make sure we're not in frame that well. Here we go. There we go. All right. So we always we line up our shot. This is where I'm gonna end. Boom. Bring it there. Doesn't matter how long or short the line is. I always kind of plot it out like that. You can even do a few passes over without touching the brush or the pen, just to kind of see, are you moving properly? Getting that proper brush stroke. Is your posture good? You shouldn't be leaning over, or sitting weird on a couch with your tablet on your lap and wondering why you're not getting clean lines. You don't have to have a big fancy art desk. You just have to be sitting firmly and have a firm desk. Kitchen tables are awesome for inking. I actually do tons of my work at a kitchen table. Just going to keep following the face around. I'm not going to really change our line for where the mask meets. We're just going to play with it like it's skin tight. But off the top we might have it poke a little, just because I like the little point with the little, it's a bat mask, you know, after all. This is loosely inspired by the Bruce Timm design. I've always appreciated his take on characters. I don't really want to get into the hair too quick, but I did. So we're going to jump back. We're going to make sure there's no wet points on any of these lines. There's usually wet points where you start or end, or anywhere where you slowed down on your brushstroke. All right, we look good there. Let's go finish up these bad boys here. So kind of got this floating bust effect. But yeah, I can't thank you guys enough for watching and participating. We've had some awesome ones. Going to be sharing those off in the next few weeks. If you are participating, make sure you sign it under my name at the end after you sign that, and then put your @ or your contact info nice and big at the bottom. That way, if I do show your piece, people know who you are and where to find you. And we are going to come up with a hashtag. It's going to be something simple. I was going to ask you guys about it. Maybe we can even start talking about that tonight, since we are live in the chat, is what the hashtag should be for collecting and everyone else seeing different people's late night inks. It should just be late night inks, kind of what I think it should be. I know some of you may have some clever idea or something funny. I sometimes do, but for this kind of stuff, I sometimes like to keep it simple. But yeah, we can talk about that. Be like, I don't think it has to have a win pun necessarily. But you know, we'll see. It's up to you guys. All right, so another benefit to doing Nightwing tonight is that it's a rather simple character. So if you are new to inking or just practicing, something like that, we don't have tons of details to go into, and we don't have scary things like irises or pupils. You know, we've just got the mask with the white eyes, a generally simple smile, no teeth. We've covered up most of the nose and the weird parts of the nose that are tough to draw or ink. So this one should be relatively simple, and it should go relatively quick for those of you that are slightly more advanced inkers too, or fully advanced inkers. I mean, we got dudes that are working at pro level that show up every week. You know, and then we even had Pro Mark Deering has pitched in quite a few ink-alongs, and we're going to be showing those off as well. But this is for everybody. My favorite thing about this is when I get people that are not artists, that excuse me, are not artists, that want to do, that want to try inking, that want to create an image like this, because it's more of a craft than an art form, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a respecting what it is kind of way. So this is something you don't have to be an artist to do, just like if you were following like a cross stitch pattern, or you know, something like that from like Michaels or a puzzle or something. So that's what I'm trying to do. But I do love it when inkers pitch in too. It means everybody's having fun with the imagery, which is the goal. And then it's also fun to see everybody's different takes. And that leads me to do your thing. Because again, this isn't about how good of an inker are you. This is about, you know, were you brave enough to try inking, to ink someone else's work, and to share it. It's all about having fun with it, because inking is fun. And it's about knowing that if your lines suck, well, you know, you do a bunch of these, you're going to get a lot better. And we're going to be going over, and we have gone over, how to practice and stuff like that. But now that I've got a little bit more of a consistent group of you showing up as of late, we will be going over that stuff again. So whether you've seen it or whether you haven't seen it, we're going to kind of regularly go over how to practice with some of these tools. And I think we're due. My homie Artsy Designs has been asking very politely for a digital lesson and some maybe a couple live inking demo episodes that are earlier for East Coasters to join in live. Because those of you watching the replay, I hang out live in the chat during these episodes, if they are not live, and we hang out and talk there. So people don't want to miss that either. So we're going to come back in and do a lot of solid black with our big brush in just a minute. We're going to close off all our contour lines. We got some mask lines and his eyes to do. And by close off, I mean, you know, here my lines, my neckline did not meet that ear line. This needs to be closed off a little here. You know, stuff like that. Literally closing off the lines. All right, so we have a wet point there. I want to get in here, but we got a wet point there too. So we're just gonna have to wait a second. Blow on it, fan on it. You can take your time because you are not doing a video, so you can wait as long as you want. I don't like to edit these that much, you know, unless I'm showing off other people's work or something. But
Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, he likes to fight and he likes to sing.
that's dry now. Let's get into finishing up this mask and then doing the hair, maybe breaking out the big brush to fill in the blacks. Okay, so a big line like this, do not be that intimidated. It's lines are just lines. When you're inking this line, don't think about I'm inking Nightwing's mask or I'm inking his face. I'm inking something super important. Don't worry about that. What you're doing, you're inking one line that goes from here to here, and that's all it is. And you can break it up if you want, but if you want to try it as a whole, what you're going to do is you're going to line up your forearm sort of to the center spot. And you're going to have your hand kind of relaxed, your pen there. This is the center. You're going to pull up to where you're going to end, and then you pull back to where you're going to start. And make sure you've got your brush stroke going there. But this is center, relaxed. Forward, line up your shot, pull back, and then you're going to hit it like that. And then we'll close it up there. There you go. And same thing on these eye lines. So you do not have to ink as fast as I do. I have been doing this for many, many, many years. And professionally for almost 20 years as a comic book inker. And so speed comes with time and experience. So move slower and more surely, and then over time you'll start picking up the pace. You'll move faster and faster. All right, so we're gonna go in and start doing some of the rendering on the face and some of the features of the face. Like this is up where the skull and the brow meet. We'll do a little bit of diamond line rendering there. And then he's going to have a nice pronounced jawline here. So we're going to go nice and heavy. We can lighten up as we move away from that. And then where the cheekbone comes into the jaw here, you always see these sort of shadows and lines put into the face. That's what that is. That's the other side of this over here. And he's pretty muscular, so he's going to even have this strong jaw muscle that comes up there. And then often we don't think about the chin curls around here, and if you just give a little bit of dimension to it like that, it helps sell the three-dimensionality of the piece. If you add dimension, there's dimension. A wise man once said, "Oh, look, Smudge. Smudge City. Check your lease, pal, because you're living in Smudge City." Okay, so we did all that rendering. Now we can, let's just outline with heavy bold lines where we're going to fill in black. And leave the top ridge white there. So we kind of have, again, add a little dimension to his uniform here. There we go. Now, to do these bolder lines, I've turned the brush from here like I would do holding it like this. I've pulled it back like that, and that sort of lays the brush flat so you can get these more chiselly, heavier lines. And that way you're not bearing down on the bristle tips to make a heavy line. You don't want to mash in to get a heavy line. All right, and here we're gonna do the cast shadow of his jaw on his neck, his chin and jaw, and the ear. And then we'll go in and do these ear shadows. And as long as we are up in this area, we'll go ahead and fill these little circular shadow shapes in black. Then we don't need to come back to them later. And we're not wasting a lot of time because they are little, so we're not spending a lot of time with the little brush filling in big spots. And then here we're going to do a shadow on the back of his neck, but we're going to leave a little bit of a rim light to separate it so that it doesn't get lost in the hair, because the hair is going to be solid black. All right, so we have a couple little forehead crinkles here, little brow crinkles. So he's not angry, but he's just kind of, he's smiling, but he's got a stoic look. I don't know. That's not the right word. Anyways, I'm debating if we should save these. Let's break out the big brush. Let's do it. Boom, boom, break out the big brush. All right, there's our break out the big brush song. So we got a size 4 here. It's fairly fatty. But we're still only going to dip halfway, 2/3. We don't want to load up the deep parts of the brush with ink. It will seep up there on its own. So now that we got this going on, we can go into these big old heavy shadow shapes. And these are similar to how Bruce Timm would break up his hair in solid chunks to get that rim lighting. We always like to do that sort of rim lighting on our hair, but we're going to break up ours a little bit differently, more in my own style. Which means a little more feathering, a little brushier. We'll come back and do those thin bleeds. And for now, just move confidently, fill in the black. Don't worry about tracing over my lines perfectly. Just create round shapes and fill them in black. And you'll start to see how it creates the highlight across the hair as we fill in the black. And as we do that, I'd like to remind you guys that Hammerella is still in demand, and we are still getting backers almost daily. We are almost at 14,000. We're trying to get to 15,000 so that we can add 8 extra pages, which I really want to add. I'm so deep into this story right now and the penciling of it, and working on it daily is such a great experience. But man, I really want to add 8 extra pages, because that would mean some really awesome, impactful double pagers that I could add. And then I have a few emotional beats that aren't, it's one of those things, it's weird to say that it isn't necessary. Like the beats I have right now, I absolutely love. But if I had a few extra pages, I could add a few things that I think would just be dynamite. But there are things that it doesn't hurt the story. It's not really going to miss it if they're not there. But man, if we can get those extra pages, that is going to be the way to go. And on the Hammerella Gods and Gears front, I am going to be talking with Dean Kotz tomorrow. We're going to be kind of finalizing some of our plans for the next Gods and Gears arc so that we can get that going, because part of your Hammerella funding is also helping us create more Gods and Gears. All right, you can already see how that has created a highlight across his black hair. And then we're going to go ahead and fill in the rest here. Now, even if you use brush markers, I recommend getting a really, really fatty black brush marker or something to fill in black areas. I don't want you wasting, tens of thousands of brush strokes filling in solid black areas with tiny markers or pens. I mean, look how quick you can fill this in with a brush. That's where you want to be with this stuff. All right, so now we are going to do his jaw shadow, and I love doing this kind of stuff. It just makes the head pop so much more off the page, because, say it with me, class, what are we always looking to do? What are we always looking to create? Dimension. That's right. So I put my glove down on these wet points, and I felt it. So I made sure we're dry now, but I'm still going to be careful and keep this hand over here and fill in this bad boy with these giant brush strokes. Alright, this is weird. I don't know if you could hear that, but my iPad in the other room just started playing a random YouTube video from my page. That was odd. Anyways, fill this in. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to change direction. I've been pushing the line away, but now I have the only kind of dry spot for my hand is here, so I'm going to pull these ones towards me. And some inkers do all of their lines one direction, some of them do the other direction. I recommend getting to know your tool so well that you don't have a preferred direction. The direction you take it is the direction that is needed at that moment. And then you digital people, man, you're even laughing here where you're like, I just dropped a black, drag and drop black into that spot. Sitting here bragging about your fat brush strokes, making fun of kids with markers. Meanwhile, the digi inkers are bloop, 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 bloop. Excuse me. All right, one more dip, and this black batch is done. We got a few render lines we're gonna do. Let's see, what am I gonna do? Oh wait, we got some hair here. We want to finish out his cool little sharp sideburn there. Wrap it around the ear. All right, so we have some rendering here left to do, and we have a little bit left up here. And I think I'm going to use this brush. It's pretty wet with ink right now, so I'm going to double over on some of these black areas. Kind of sharpen up the brush, and then I am going to do short little bleeds here, thin to thicks. Like that, and then oof, this is wet here. So I'm gonna throw my pinky out like that, kind of make sure I'm nice and secure while floating above the wet area there. And then here we're gonna do some chiselly lines. We'll go thick to thins. A little different sort of effect and fade in there. Solidify this black a little bit there. All right, that's looking good. I usually don't like to do bleeds on both sides of, like, say, like black leather like this. I like to have one side clean and one side have the rendering. Whereas the hair can kind of go back and forth with. And there we go. And you can add whatever lines here you want. If you don't want to go back in and do these, the hair kind of looks okay as is. A fat brush is getting a little, loosen its tip a little there. There we go. It will look fine without these. And go ahead and add whatever you want to the background if you'd like to add a background. Because like I say, these are just templates, people. These are not some guide that you have to follow in order to please your ink king or anything like that. I'm gonna have a few strays here. Wow, and I think excuse me, I think that's it. Getting my signature brush ready. Let's look over it, make sure we got everything. Everything is wet on this. My new chair is creaky. Fill in some of this black a little more. I'm going to show it off to you guys here. There we go. 25 minutes to Dick Grayson as Nightwing with the mullet, of course. Ooh, look, I got a little smudge there, and we fixed it. Alright, so I am going to sign my name here. Go ahead and trace over my RAW there with the star in the middle. Then add your name, your signature below. Then if you want me to share this in the video, go ahead and nice and big add your @ or your whatever your name, whatever you want to do, whatever contact info, anything you want to have there. You add that so that you get proper credit, and I feel good about you getting credit. Alright, there we have it. We are done with Nightwing. Links are in the description for Hammerella and Death Curse. Join us Friday over on the Death Curse channel. We will be doing part 2 of our 24-hour comic day, the next 3 hours. I'm coming in a little more prepared than I was for the first day. Even though I got tons of work done, I learned some lessons going forward on how I'm going to approach the pages. So make sure you check us out there. Make sure you're subscribed to all of those. And every Tuesday we are over on Geronimo Draws, doing our draw stream there. There's a link for that below. There's also a link for the brush that I use down below. So check out all those links. Let me know what you thought about the video down below, and let me know if you have, if you stepped up and did the ink along. I'm at Ryan Wynn over on Twitter. And until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and take it easy.
Stupid cat.